Hello and welcome back to Fragrance University. My name is Caitlin and we've made it to the last of our cold process videos. In this course, you'll learn all about the various ways in which you can decorate your cold process soaps. For starters, we've talked a lot about swirls in the previous courses. Cold process soap is perfect for making swirl designs because of how long it stays in a liquid state. Although it's possible to swirl melt and pour soaps, they begin hardening very quickly. This makes it difficult to create intricate and fluid designs possible with cold process soap batter. As such, the cold process method is preferred for those who want to create these designs. Swirls can be made in many ways, all of which will produce slightly different results. Regardless of the method, once the soap has been mixed and reached a light trace, it should be divided into separate pouring containers. From here, different colors can be added. This should be done with a whisk, not an immersion blender. Doing so will prevent the soap from thickening too quickly. Once the soap has been sectioned off and colored, it's time to start swirling. Cold process swirls can be made in two ways, in the pot or in the mold. In-pot swirls are made by pouring the various colors into your main soaping pot one by one. This can be done in a random order or in a set pattern for different looks. The layered colors are then poured into the mold in a single pot. In mold swirls are made by pouring each of the colors directly into the mold one by one and then manipulating them with a spoon or a hanger tool. These hanger tools can be specifically bought for soap making or made from a metal hanger that you have at home. In-mold swirls can be made in varying ways using chopsticks or other utensils to drag colors throughout the mold. Other ways to make designs in mold are to pour blobs of your color in one at a time and then spin the mold on a lazy Susan, jerking it back and forth. Soap that is poured and swirled in a thin trace will be wispy in appearance, whereas thicker trace will leave your swirls with a chunkier look. Cold process soap that has reached a thick trace is perfect for adding swirls and designs to the top of your soap. This can be done by spooning blobs of each color onto the top of the rest of your soap in the mold and then manipulating it with the back of a spoon. Think of it like frosting a cake. Speaking of cake, soap that has a very heavy trace can be scooped into confection or piping bag and piped to resemble actual frosting. This method of cold process decor uses the same tips and tricks as bakers do when frosting their desserts. Different piping tips will allow for different designs. This method can be used to make hyper-realistic and fun-looking cupcake and dessert soaps. Soap swirls can be made up of many colors. Simple swirls between 2 or 3 colors can look just as beautiful as 6 colors. It all depends on the colors you choose. Use your knowledge of both the color wheel and the fragrance wheel to come up with pleasing color combinations. Think back to our Fragrance 101 course videos. Different fragrance families are associated with different colors, so choose colors that will visually represent the smell of the soap best. For example, creamy white and rich brown swirls are indicative of sweet dessert-scented soaps. Of course, swirls aren't the only ways that you can add design elements to your soaps. Layering, whether it's done with bleeding colorants or not, look great as well. When we say bleeding colorants, we mean highly concentrated lab colors that have a tendency to bleed onto one another. Using these in cold process soap layers can create a blended ombre effect in the final product. It's also possible to use embeds in cold process soap. The embeds you use can be made using melted pour soap for convenience, but can also be made with cold process as well. Any embeds you made must be cured a couple days before use in soap, so make sure you prepare them beforehand. Once they have cured in the mold, they can be placed in the soap just like any other embed. Simply cut the long molds down to size and place them into the desired position in your base soap. If you use melt and pour embeds in your cold process soap, make sure the base soap is not too hot within the mold. Around 110 to 120 degrees is a good range to work with. Embeds and many other methods of decor can be used to spice up the top of your cold process soap. Himalayan salt, dehydrated flowers, herbs, and other small skin-safe particles make for great dry ingredients that can be sprinkled on the top layer of your soap. You can also sprinkle a layer of mica, clay, or glitter on top or in between different layers of color within the soap. There are endless ways that you can decorate your cold process soap, all of which require varying levels of expertise and supplies. The best way to find out your favorite is to try some of them out. You're only limited by your own imagination, so don't be afraid to combine different techniques. Now that we're done taking a look at everything you need to know about cold process soap, we'll be continuing on in our soap course videos. Up next, you'll learn everything you need to know about hot process soaps, followed by liquid soaps. My name is Caitlin, and this is Fragrance U. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!